Tony mani manga lokuve kuvenga ni tukadilo koe. Ini meni minga lokuve kuvenga ni tukadilo koe. Chao kano koe. Tukadilo koe. Chao kano koe. Tukadilo koe.
Mongele na malutea. Mandu mongele masintu mongele mandoto. Mawelindi mongele na mawambambe ombowa wamokole. Wana wawu. Ni ma wove andene ewolowo wasa. Ini tita ewenji malutea. Namena Mema wato wa wakbe. Ogbeya o Cameroni. I was raised around trees of diverse sizes, some robust, with leaves the size of moving eyebrows when looked upon from the ground upwards. They stood like Goliath, towering single-story bungalows, shielding them from unfamiliar elements. Others crept on the face of the earth, picking and contenting themselves with what little they could find. They too watched and lived in perpetual service to land and self, where you can find and meet them, in isolation, on hilltops, in long abandoned woodlands further away from mortal territories, on choosing human settlements, etc. They had gotten to these places either by coercion or by choice. Some were bestowed and saluted with names that planted them deep into the soil. Others were not. Jabeya, Mojoko, Ngowo, Namundo, and Nako were the ones I felt the most proximate to. They stood at attention, stretched and lined up on my grandmother's compound. They were not gendered by function, but only by name. They were prescribed names to remind spectators that they too have lineages they must care for, and that somehow they needed to remind themselves of who belonged where for what reason. Some carried fruits, while others did not. Their significance to place or land did not lie in their ability to act as sources of nourishment, nor did it lie in their usefulness to mankind. It lay in something entirely different, something hidden away from man's comprehension. For this reason, they stood upright and bent exclusively towards the sun for guidance. People do not sit idly at the foot of a tree. They sit with purpose. At the foot of a tree, rituals are held. A chicken lays its eggs and feeds its young. A family gathers for palm wine to remember spirits. Here, elders congregate to discuss matters of the land, drawing up plans for their next harvest. It is a woodpecker's medium of choice to knock humans back into the realities of daylight. It is where the seed in the placenta lives, where a body is made whole again. At a tree's foot, a baby gets its name. It is where mothers pound away plantains, yams, cassava, and pumpkin leaves as they enmesh themselves with desires and hopes. There is something that speaks in a tree. In it is archived the language of land and the taste of soil. In it, things are entangled inextricably. A tree dreams, conjures, and imagines the people and the land it stands on. It has its own body, consciousness, and mechanisms. In every country where mouths loom over throats, The way of the people is the tree. There are questions like, is she at peace, or is she simply reliving her loss all over again? When a body is laid at the foot of a tree, does it enter into an alliance with its roots? Can it thereafter travel up its veins? Does a new life emerge? Will it recognize its ancestors? Will it have a tongue of its own? Will it remember its mother's loss? In Bimbia, where my family's origin can be traced back to, people understand trees. You can tell the number of children a woman has lost by counting the number of trees she lives with. Here, people understand the language the soil speaks. They understand that some sites remain etched in our psyche because they are doused in the sentimentality of a history eroded. They live with their ears to the ground and make available their bodies to the elements. They hear the cries of crickets that announce the arrival of the sun season. They smell and hear the first drops of rain and the joyful voices of trees that welcome them with open arms. As farmers, they have learned to listen closely and to wait on and stay connected to the earth. They are not simply stewards of the soil. They are harbingers of epistemologies and prophecies. In these prophecies, their bodies, or the gravity of what has just happened, is understood and registered by spectating bodies as a loss, as a deletion of life. A stimuli is set to sail. By the time a mother's body hits the ground in shock, a separation becomes apparent. Previously existing bodily ties are severed, and new parts are forged in memory and truth. Gallons of tears are spent. A day and a site are chosen. The community convenes again to return dust to where it belongs. The third mutation happens at the foot of a tree. It begins with the tradition of giving back to earth that which is alive no more. A body and a seed are lowered into the ground and watered with libation and eulogies. Energies and elements enter into matrimony. When a new seed grows through a placenta or a body, another pregnancy announces itself. Flowers on the windowsill bloom, anoint and announce a new dawn. A new body is registered in a song, a home, a name, or a place to which it can now be found. In between the memories of ourselves and our mother's tears, aliens become temporary. They vanish in the banality of truth. On my grandmother's compound, she has 5 trees beaming with life and 5 graves announcing names and dates of birth right next to them. Thank you. Oh my God, I have to put this on.
Imbandi no yonge meteteo, imbandi no yonge meteteo, imbandi no yonge meteteo, dino imbandi no yonge meteteo, 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 i Imbandino, yonge meteteo. Imbandino, yonge meteteo. Imbandino, yonge meteteo. Imbandino, yonge meteteo.